What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to Sunday evening's Anfield Agenda News Roundup. I will, of course, be back tonight at about 8:45 or 9 o'clock for the late night agenda. And believe it or not, it is already time to put out the Galatasaray preview. So that will be coming out after tonight's late night agenda. Today, I'm going to go through and give you some of the latest transfer news, including another link to Dijk Upamecano, some talk about Kanade's future, and a couple of crazy links that I just don't think really make any sense. That and lots more to come, including some words from Micah Richards around the performances of Ibrahima Kanade. As always, I want to know your thoughts, ladies and gents, so do let me know in the comment section. Drop a like on the video if you enjoy it, and thank you once again for all of your support yesterday during what was a difficult game against Crystal Palace, but you guys showed up and were kind as always, and we appreciate your support. Right, don't forget to enter our giveaway at the minute we are running with thanks to our friends at the Collector's Corner. You can win the signed and framed Diogo Jota shirt. Get over to the Anfield Agenda Instagram account for all the information on how to enter, and the winner will be announced next Saturday after the game against Chelsea. Right, so let's start off with what I mentioned about Micah Richards. No doubt you guys tuned into Match of the Day last night. Or actually, maybe you didn't, because sometimes when we lose, I don't watch it either. But I did tune in just out of curiosity to see what they were saying about Liverpool's performance. We know Palace deserved to win and they played very well, so absolutely credit to them for deserved victory. But it was good to hear Micah Richards single out Ibrahima Kanade's performances, because it lets us know as fans, we're not just imagining it. He said that it makes him feel jittery watching Kanade's performances, and he wasn't just talking about yesterday, he was talking about this season, and he's not wrong. So all of us fans that are worried about his performances, and he hasn't had all bad ones, I mean, credit to him, he had 2 or 3 good performances in a row, but yesterday, very shaky. And Micah Richards, well, he pointed it out on Match of the Day. So what do we do moving forward? Truth is, I don't really know what we can do. There's Joe Gomez and Kanade, and they're the only real options at the minute to partner Virgil, so let's just hope that one of the two gents can get their head screwed on and get back to playing to the level we know they're capable of. Obviously, Virgil's performing well enough, so no concerns there. This report from Christian Falk said that Liverpool are continuing to explore a move to sign Bayern Munich defender Dijk Upamecano on a free transfer next summer. I'll say what I said all the way through, ladies and gents. I'm not a fan of Dijk Upamecano. I wouldn't really want him coming to Liverpool. And like I said, I feel we got the better of the Leipzig defenders when we brought in Kanade. So let me know your thoughts on that one. Maybe I am being a little bit harsh, but I think there are better centre-backs out there. This report from Calcio Mercado is absolutely astonishing, because I don't know what world they think they're living in, but they say that AC Milan are interested in Liverpool's Joe Gomez and are considering a move in January. Let me stop you lads right there. Wasting your time, because we're already down centre-backs, and the last thing we're going to do is to sell a centre-back in January. I know Gomez was potentially close to a move to AC Milan in the summer, but there is no way that Liverpool are going to move on another centre-back in January, when the MO has got to be to buy one and not to sell one. Let's talk a little bit about a bit of a crazy story today, but one, if it did happen, I'd be very happy about. Transfer News Live have linked both Liverpool and Manchester United to compete for the £65 million signing of Everton's Jared Branthwaite, according to The Mirror. Now look, I like Branthwaite as a player. I'm sure some of you guys do as well. But we know that Everton won't be selling to us, or at least it would be a huge surprise if Everton sold to us. And it would be even more of a surprise if Branthwaite was silly enough to go to Manchester United with the absolute state that they're in. This piece goes on to say, or at least Transfer News Live say underneath, he'd be a brave man to consider a transfer from Everton to Liverpool, and he'd be a stupid man to transfer from Everton to Manchester United. Probably right on both accounts. The Anfield Agenda account, which of course you can always rely on X for the very best Liverpool news. Quote from Federico Chiesa, he said, "We should have been more concentrated to get a draw, because it would have been a great result from what we've seen." And look, Palace are now 18 games unbeaten. They are second, I believe, in the Premier League table, so it was always going to be a difficult task yesterday. But somehow we got ourselves back into a position to get a draw, and that defensive, well, mental lapse at the end, conceding from a long throw-in, cost us what could be a very good point. Chiesa has 4 goals and assists now in 167 minutes of football this season. Credit at LFC Lucas for that post. Nobody makes their case for a starting spot clearer. He impacts every game. And he's not wrong, is he? We've been talking about this many, many times. Chiesa is not only knocking on the manager's door now, he's kicking it down to say, look, I'm here, I'm ready. You can trust me. Virgil van Dijk was speaking after yesterday's defeat, and he said, I don't think there's any reason to worry, but we have to improve pretty quickly. So obviously we play in Turkey on Tuesday, and we have a very difficult game there, so we have to be ready. Again, stating the obvious, but enough of the talking, the action is what we need. Now, the next part of what Virgil said, I do agree with, but he's right, we need a better performance. And no talking, more performing. Right, he said, the biggest challenge now is to stay calm. I've mentioned it too many times. Never get too high, never get too low. Just work and don't listen to the outside too much. That's fairly sensible. Look, we all have our opinion as fans, rightly or wrongly. But Virgil's right to just say, keep it calm, stay focused, take the games one at a time. All them old adages that are true. And I guess that's why he's the captain, right? Also said, you know, you can do better, and everybody knew that. We were disappointed in our performance, disappointed in the loss, but especially the way we went about it. I think if we got a draw, then we already took 1 point too many. And again, I think that is good honesty there from Virgil, because we probably deserved nothing from that game. In fact, we definitely deserved nothing from that game, but we had gotten ourselves into a position for a point, and it is a shame we let that one go at the end. So fingers crossed. For me personally, I think next Saturday is the bigger game of the two we have this week. I'm going to do a lot of changes in my preview for the Galatasaray game, which will be out tonight, as I mentioned. So don't get angry at me. I will explain my decisions as we go through. And the last thing that we have for you guys today is that Manchester United would consider appointing Graham Potter after his sacking by West Ham as a surprise replacement for Ruben Amorim, according to reports over in Spain from Ficajes, who again, I would say, take with a massive pinch of salt. But imagine that for a second. Not good enough for West Ham, potentially. Gets sacked there, gets replaced by Nuno Espirito Santo, and then goes to Manchester United. I mean, it would be the most Manchester United thing to do ever, but surely they're not that stupid, are they? From what I believe, if they sack Amorim before his 1 year anniversary, it'll cost them £12 million to do so. And bringing in Graham Potter, well, that's just another payoff waiting to happen down the line, isn't it? Another second. It is a mad industry, football management. It's the only one I can think of where you can keep underperforming and walking into huge paying jobs with multi-million pound payoffs. But I guess that's the joys of it, right? So that is where we're at for now, ladies and gentlemen. But as I said, I will be back here tonight. It'll either be 8:45 or 9 p.m. I hope that you can join me for it. We've lots to talk about. The preview for the Galatasaray game, well, that is coming out at about 10:30, 11:15 tonight. So let me know your thoughts on that once you've watched it. And again, we do appreciate your support. I'll catch up with you tonight. Take care. Much love. Bye-bye.